I swear to God, I was the only person in the first class cabin who used this feature on the chair. I saw no one else do this. Today I'll be flying from LAX to Sydney, Australia. I'm flying American Airlines First Class on the 777-300ER. Upon entering the lounge, they serve me a really nice glass of champagne. There is no a la carte dining options like with United Polaris or Air Canada's Signature Class, which is really unfortunate for a first class ticket with American Airlines. The food served at the buffet was still fairly decent, definitely a step above other lounges. However, I still did really expect a little bit more from American Airlines considering that this is a first class ticket, and trust me, they charge for these tickets. But at least the view is very nice. And with a little bit of ingenuity, I was able to make my sandwich just a little bit tastier. Although you had a lot of drink options, compared to other first class lounges, I believe American Airlines is a bit lower on my list. In fact, the first class lounge may be a bit lower than some business class lounges that I've been to. It's not bad by any means, but if they're going to price this similarly to the newer first class products, then at least the soft products should be able to keep up. American Airlines, so far pretty good. I don't think it's as good as the United Polaris lounge, but overall, not that bad. This is the bathroom. This is my first time at LAX. Now it's for the long walk to my flight. My gate is all the way at the end. This is the frontal view of the plane I'll be flying today. That is the 777-300ER. Just a little preview of the business class cabin. American Airlines are no longer investing in their first class product, so this is a bit dated and aged. However, nonetheless, I'm still really excited to fly with them. The cabin did feel spacious and did feel like a first class product. I did try going up to the pilot asking for a picture in the cockpit. Unfortunately, because they were short on time, they were not able to accommodate me, but I still got a picture with the pilot himself.
Welcome to your American Airlines flight. On its way to one of our many destinations across the globe. Made possible by our dedicated team members, who all do it for one reason.
That's why your safety is so important to us. So let's go over some in-flight instructions so that we can get you safely on your way.
To buckle your seatbelt, insert the metal end into the buckle and pull the strap to tighten. To open, lift the top of the buckle. And remember, seatbelts should be fastened whenever you're seated in case of unexpected turbulence. Now, make sure your
I have seen worse safety videos, but overall this was fairly boring and not very inspiring to watch. America has so much culture that they can lean into for their safety videos, but it's really sad to see the carriers are not taking advantage of that. And because I filled up in the lounge, I will be skipping the first meal service. Instead, I'll be having the dinner menu during breakfast time. But in the meantime, we're going to check out the seat and the amenity kit. The kit itself is made out of leather, feels really nice and premium. But for the contents themselves, it was a little bit disappointing. I got some wipes, a dental kit, some earplugs, hand cream, and face mist. Of course, you have your standard socks and eye mask. I will never wear the socks. I don't know why airlines keep giving the socks. And then we have some lip balm, which I will use. These are the headphones provided to you on American Airlines. I always bring my own headphones because of the noise cancellation features. Noise cancellation greatly improves the airplane experience. They do have a round ear shape, so that implies a much older design. But when I did try them on, they were actually fairly comfortable. In my opinion, these were actually the best headphones provided to me on a flight so far. I can't wait to go to sleep. I've been up for a very long time at 8 a.m. We're going to take a look at the bathroom and then just try out the pajamas. They closed off the garbage since it won't seal properly, but otherwise the bathroom is kind of small. I mean, it is functional, but I noticed that most planes, even on the 777s, do have small bathrooms. These are the pajamas provided to me by American Airlines. They gave me a small/medium, which is interesting because when I flew Lufthansa, they gave me a large. A major flaw of these pajamas is that there's no pockets, but otherwise still fairly comfortable. Now it's time for the real reason why anyone would pay first class for a ticket. The sleep test. The bedding and the blanket were very soft. The bedding especially was very thick and the blanket was very soft. You can lower the armrest on the side just to have a little bit more space. However, if you are someone who rolls around a lot, it's probably best if you just keep those up. After changing out of my pajamas, I came back to the seat and I noticed 2 Wagyu sliders on my table. They also gave me some pea snacks. And for the condiments, I have a choice of mustard, ketchup, and mayo. And there's some cheese on top of the burger. I think I did a really good job of assembling the burgers. And guys, say no to the ketchup. There's so much sugar. You'll get used to it eventually if you stop ordering ketchup on your burgers. So I still have a few hours to kill before they start their next meal service. So I figured this would be a great time just to finish up some paperwork. And guys, when you go into Australia and New Zealand, they make you pay a fee to enter in the country. And New Zealand, it's for $100. Now for the second part of the seat tour. So if you press the button on the chairs, in my case it's to the left, you can actually swivel your chair so it's facing towards the window. This is a unique quirk of American Airlines. Obviously, you don't really need this feature. You can just pull out the tray table and use it like normal, but you can see the antiquated design in this seat. You can see that the tray table, when facing towards the window, does fold out. And of course, that touchpad is what we use to control the seat. Overall, I guess this does provide a nice view if you are working, especially during daytime flights. You can see out the window. You do have what I believe to be a phone holder and a charger to the left. And then on to the right, you have your remote control. And then this is where they kept the headphones. I just put it on top. You can turn on the lights. You have a mirror, and then this is where all the outlets are. On the flight, I was the only person to use this feature on this chair. I saw no one else do this. So previously, the flight attendants handed out some chocolates. They gave me some really nice chocolates. It was the Ghirardelli brand, and they gave me the 60% cocoa, and there was no caramel filling. And I was not able to find the no filling Ghirardelli chocolates anywhere in Canada. This was the menu from earlier. The most expensive drink on the menu was the champagne, roughly around $60 US. And then as for the menu items, I chose the golden beets and the braised short rib. And for dessert, I opted for the famous American Airlines ice cream sundae. The year is 2025 and I have not watched Moana yet, so I'm really glad American Airlines offered it. Hopefully my United Airlines flight back will have Moana too. The Golden Beets were really good and the flight attendant offered me a berry smoothie. This was my first time drinking a smoothie in like 2 years, and let me tell you, this really made my flight. Next up is the butternut squash soup. I don't really have anything particular to say about this dish. I mean, soup tasted fine. It was a little bit sweet. Maybe I could have had this as a light dessert. Now it's time for the main course, and unfortunately the service can be greatly improved here, because what ended up happening was that my food was not properly heated all the way through. So as I slowly got towards the center, it became more closer to room temperature. It wasn't cold by any means, but it wasn't warm either, I would say. So this is definitely not a problem I should be having in the first class cabin. This is definitely something that they can improve upon. This is by far my biggest complaint with the level of service I received on this flight, as well as the lack of expensive drink options. And last but not least, we have the famous American Airlines ice cream sundae. I asked the flight attendants to go easy on the syrups, and they delivered. So that concludes the meal service offered by American Airlines, and again, there is a lot to be desired. I really wish for a product of this price to offer similar food services to that of European airlines that offer similar plane tickets for the same price. There was one more round of towel service before we land, and despite its shortcomings, although this flight definitely needed some improvement, I was still overall fairly happy with American Airlines itself. And the reason for that is because American Airlines, they're super protective of their rewards program, so you can frequently find last minute business or first class deals using their points. And because of that, I always try to find myself earning American airline miles whenever possible. And if you guys are getting into the travel hacking game, I promise you American Airlines is one of the top most valuable programs out there. This is not sponsored in any ways, I just really like their rewards program. The service staff was really nice, and one of them thanked me for coming on board the flight. He said that not all Americans are this bad. Obviously, he was referring to the Trump tariffs, but I am an opportunistic traveler. I'm going to go wherever a cheap plane ticket is, and I believe free market forces will work themselves out. Thank you to those who watch all the way to the end. Please like and subscribe. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them in the comment section below. And I'll catch you guys on my next trip.